guys, thanks for checking out the channel, watching the video. Today I am making cookies. I am taking them to work tomorrow. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, and we're having a bunch of people are bringing food at the lab, and so one of the things I'm bringing is cookies. And I want to do something a little different than chocolate chip or sugar or something like that, so I'm going to make red velvet cookies. They have white chocolate chips in them. They're red velvet tasting. They got that little twang of red velvet. Anyway, they're relatively easy to make too. Make sure you have a pair of gloves. I'll explain that later. And here you go, guys. This is the recipe for red velvet cookies. If you are not a subscriber, remember, hit that subscribe button below. We'd love to have you on board. So here's my recipe for red velvet cookies. We're going to start out by mixing together 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. This is not self-rising, it's all-purpose. Into that, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of cocoa. Use a good cocoa. Don't use the store brand. Use like Hershey's or Ghirardelli or something like that. Also into that, we have 1/2 teaspoon, I don't know if you can see or not, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to dump this together, and we want to whisk that. Because if you just throw cocoa, sometimes it doesn't mix well, but if you mix it with the flour, whisk it together, break up the lumps, it's going to incorporate better into your batter. You could sift it if you want to, but a whisk works great. All right, looks good to me. Set that to the side. In the bowl of our mixer, we have 1/2 cup of white sugar. We're going to put 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I like dark brown, so that's what we're going to use. Firmly packed. And then we're going to mix in our butter, which is 1 stick or 1/2 cup of butter. I use unsalted. And the reason you want to mix the butter and the sugar together, if I were to mix this together and just mix it till it's mixed, we want to beat this till it's fluffy. If you just put it in here and mix it together, it kind of makes like wet sand. We want that sugar to dissolve into the butter and incorporate air. It makes your cookies fluffier when they cook. If you didn't do this, you'd have really flat, like tough cookies. This will incorporate air into it, and you can tell because the color will change and go from a darker to a lighter. So we're going to let that roll for a few minutes until it's light and fluffy. And I'll show you what I was talking about, the wet sand. Let's get all the butter in. So your butter needs to be soft. And you know I'm impatient, so mine wasn't that soft. It was pretty soft. So if you look at it now, it's like wet sand. The butter and the sugar are mixed together, but they're not fluffy. We want to get that air mixed in, and so we'll let this run for a little bit and mix in the air. Make sure we get all this down. To the fluffy stage, and if you look at it, you can see right here, this little part right here was just mixed, and this was beat till it's fluffy. It's actually changed the consistency, and it's a different mixture. So we're ready now. So we're going to scrape this down, get everything into this. Now, into this, we want to put about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And you know, I never measure vanilla. 1-ish to 1.5, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. To this, we're going to put in an egg. My egg was, I used my cup that I had the cocoa in, so there's a little bit of cocoa in there. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. That's going to give it the flavor of the red velvet. And this is going to give it the color of the red velvet. That is 2 teaspoons of red food coloring, which I don't like to mess with because I always get it on me. So we're slowly mixing it together. I'm going to crank it up a little bit and get that really combined. While that's going slow, we've got our dry mixture. We're going to slowly add this dry mixture. I'm going to crank it down a little bit. Am I going to make it through an entire cookie recipe without throwing flour everywhere? I'm surprised. There's still time. And that is what your dough looks like. Get it off the batter, off the beater. It's like, could I have possibly chosen a smaller spatula to do this? Okay, give it one last mix together. So once this is done, we're going to cover it and put it in the refrigerator for an hour or so. Let it chill till it's good. One more thing, we want to put in white chocolate chips. White chocolate chips. We're going to use about a cup, but we want to save some. So we're going to save about a third of a cup or so to go on the outside of the cookies. So we're going to stir that together. All right. I'm going to scrape down everything, put some plastic wrap over the top of it, stick it in the fridge. Word of warning, guys. The dough is chilled. We're taking it out of the refrigerator. Before you mess with this stuff, put on your rubber gloves. You're going to regret it if you don't. Your fingers will stain. So make sure you put your rubber gloves on when you're messing with it. All right, since this is cooled, what I'm going to do... All right, is scoop out. This is about a tablespoon scoop. Ish, tablespoon and a half. We're going to scoop around it, scoop out. I'm going to go ahead and pre-make the cookie balls. And just put them on a paper plate or something. And I'll just do this and finish the dough. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is just roll them to make them round. All right, so these are ready to go on the baking sheet. If you spill stuff or you get this stuff anywhere, make sure you clean it up. So we want to put these on your baking sheet about 2 inches apart. So remember, first knuckle is 1 inch, second knuckle is 2 inch. So, or actually this parchment paper has 2 inch marks on it. So we will just do what that says. Actually, my space is a little more than that. So we want to put these in a 350 degree oven for about 11-ish minutes or so. You want it to look firm on the outside and slightly undercooked on the inside. All right, but I am going to give these a little help by pushing them down just a smidge. And also that makes them not roll as you're moving them from the counter to the oven. All right, guys, this is what it looks like. So what I'm going to do is to slide them off directly onto the counter and hopefully not mess them up like I did that. While these are hot, we're going to put a few white chocolate chips right into the top on each one of them, like 2 or 3, just for prettiness. These will be the ones we snack on. And you just want to continue, let that cool a little bit, transfer them to a wire rack, and let them cool completely. All right, here's what they look like. This is the one I kind of oopsied on, so we're going to eat that one. Can you see? They're chocolatey. They smell like red velvet cake. Still a little warm. Wow, that is tasty. Look at the inside. Soft, kind of chewy, delicious. Man, those are good. So, Mike had a really good idea. You could totally leave off the white chocolate chips on top and make a whoopie pie out of it. Make a cream cheese filling, squish it together like a certain cookie. Would be delicious. But I'm taking these to work, like I said, so I got to make them stretch, so we're not doing that. So we're taking single cookies. So anyway, guys, red velvet cookies, they're awesome. They're worth the work. They're worth putting rubber gloves on for. You guys have a good week. Be safe out there. I will not be putting out a video next week because we're going to Disney. It's our first trip ever. Well, I went a long time ago when I was like 6. Mike's never been, but it's our first trip to Disney together. Kind of a honeymoonish. You guys have a great week. I'll let you know how Disney went, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Have a good one. Be safe. Don't forget to subscribe.